Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Cosmic, and in today's topic video, I was thinking something very different that was coming up to my mind from time to time, and it's something very interesting and intriguing, and it's also very exciting. That I've always wanted to try this one out, and that is the top 10 characters that I wish to see get a tier 4 by next year. Now, we are going to ignore the characters that are going to get a tier 4 next year. For example, what's his name? Falcon's gonna get a uniform. He's gonna get a tier 4 with the movie that's coming out. What else? Winter Soldier probably gonna get a tier 4 as well when the movie comes out. What else do we have? Taskmaster might get a tier 4 or a uniform. That's 3 tier 4s in one update. I don't think that's gonna happen, but he might get a tier 4 in the movie that when it comes out. You know, Red Guardian is also in the movie when it comes out, like Thunderbolts movie. Might got something when the movie comes out. And Red Hulk, where's he at? Red Hulk, he's gonna get obviously a uniform and hopefully gets a tier 4 because the movie comes out in February, which is like 3 months from now. Yeah, 3 months from like December, January, February. Yeah, it's gonna come out in 3 months from now. So yeah, just getting these characters out of the way. Oh, by the way, if you guys have watched What If Season 3 trailer that dropped last night, yeah, dropped like yesterday. Vision was in the trailer, and he might get a tier 4. Okay, Vision is in the show, and he's apparently a villain in the show, and he might get a tier 4, maybe get new looks, new uniform, new designs and stuff. So we have to wait and see for that. So keep that in mind. Vision also appeared in the trailer yesterday, so he might get something by December. Okay, so with that being said, guys, let's jump out in the top 10 characters, okay, that I wish to see get a tier 4 by next year. Okay, starting off at number 10, we have Nimrod or Sentinel. Nimrod, I highly recommend the developers team to give him a tier 4 because this tier 2 passive is not tier 2 passive, it's going to be a 4-star passive, is way too strong. So basically what it does is it increases damage dealt to mutant characters by 90% and decreases damage received from mutant characters by 50%. Okay, he also has the debuff removal. He has an eye from ignore, I believe. No, he does not, but he has 100% penetration to everything. Okay, energy immunity, physical immunity, all damage immunity, invincible. He has also penetration to barrier, shield, super armor as well. So this dude has like a lot of stuff backed up for him against mutants. Okay, he has immunity to mind control effect. This summons part, I really hope they get rid of it because the summons barely do anything. Okay, they barely attack, barely do any form of damage. Maybe they can keep it. I don't know, but I don't think they're gonna do much with it. He has accumulation. He has the heal. He has a hidden heal over here that doesn't show up in here, but it can show up in the skill preview. By the way, he has frenzy buffs. He has all debuff removal. He's packing a punch for mutants. Okay, he's really tough to kill for mutants. But back into 2020, I think it was 2020. Yeah, back in 2020, mutants were having a hard time to kill him. Okay, Jean Grey was not able to kill him. Wolverine was not able to kill him. No other mutant was able to kill this dude back then when we only had tier 3s and had level 70 tier 2s. Now we have tier 4s. They immediately one-shot this poor guy. So I really hope he gets a uniform and he becomes a meta character in PvP, especially for mutants. Coming up at number 9, we have Omega Red. Omega Red, I think they did him dirty. He had the potential to be a very strong character for PvP when he was introduced this year, but he did not stand up to the expectations, unfortunately. He has like a strong passive, which is basically super armor all defense increase by 40% and recovery of 5% HP when HP is around 99%. He has 35% HP increase. He has 20% damage reduction, skill damage, and bonus damage. He doesn't have any eye from ignore, unfortunately. He needs some eye from ignore. I don't think he has penetration either. No, he has accumulation, he has frenzy buffs over here, he has another frenzy buff over there, but he has no accumulation. He recovers his HP by 15% every 2 seconds, okay, and has a barrier for 6 hits, alright. The penetration is on his tier 3, but no character survives all the way to tier 3 to have this penetration activated, unfortunately. His leadership just applies to himself, 30% physical attack increase, and all speeds to all allies. And that's pretty much it for Omega Red. I don't recall what was his artifact exactly, what it does. I think it's just like all attack increase, something like that. Yeah, it increases all basic attack by 5%, which is mediocre. That should give him like the immortality effect, like every Weapon X character. Yeah, Omega Red should definitely get a tier 4 by next year. Make him a meta for PvP as well. I think he has a lot of potential to become a very powerful PvP meta character in the combat class. Yeah, he's really underwhelming, and there's so much more they can do with him in PvP. Honestly, they could give him like some form of effect where whenever he attacks the opponent, each hit just takes a certain amount of HP from the opponents and gets it back to him. Since that's how he functions, he drains the life force from other beings. So yeah, I really hope Omega Red gets something and he gets a tier 4, because I think he honestly deserves it. Coming up at number 8, we have Dhen. Now Dhen, he just got a uniform and a tier 3 like last update or 2 updates ago, and he was really good. He was really good. Like, he impressed me a lot. If you guys watched my video, he impressed me so much with his performance in PvP. He was really tanky. He had all the weapons that he needed for PvP. Okay, he has the 5% recovery when HP is below 99%. He has 65% recovery HP when HP is below 33%. He had damage reduction, super armor, all defenses increase, ignore, dodge rate. He had iframe ignore with penetration, 100% penetration for 4 seconds. Okay, and this penetration applies to everything: super armor, barrier, shield, all damage, immune, invincible effect. He had a frenzy buff. He has accumulation. He has another frenzy buff over here. He has everything. I don't think he has super guard. That's the one thing he's missing. He does not have super guard, unfortunately. Yeah, and his artifact is actually very good. When HP is below 30%, he just ignores damage for 3 seconds, okay, and increases his basic damage by 5% for each damage has been ignored, okay. The more he ignores damage, the more his own damage increases. So, which is like some form of an accumulation type stuff. And this artifact really makes him even tankier. I've tested it out. It was really hard to kill for 3 seconds, but if you get like a 6-star artifact off of this, that would be amazing. Dhen, he's really strong character. Definitely recommend people to get him if they can, and I would really hope the developers team get him to tier 4, because he is a really powerful character, and that I've seen in PvP at tier 3, and very few characters can really compete in PvP at tier 3 within the tier 4 metas. So Dhen is one of them. I really hope the developers team give him a tier 4, because he honestly has so much potential to become a PvP meta. Coming up at number 7, it's Ultron. Ultron, unfortunately, when he got this uniform, he was super underwhelming. The Infinity Ultron from the What If. Now, if any of you watch What If, you think that Ultron is super strong in this game. That's not what happened, unfortunately. In the show, he was a multiversal threat. In the game, he's not a threat at all. He's just like a shiny toy. That's all he is. He has no damage, almost no damage. His tier 3 hits hard, but like, it's not that. It's not like hella level tier 3 damage, unfortunately. His accumulation is very weak. 0.5% is such a dog shit accumulation. His 5th skill only gives him like 35% buff attack, and that's pretty much it. His leadership gives all machine allies 55% damage increase. He has guaranteed crit rates. He has skill damage and bonus damage. He decreases damage by 40%. He has no iframe ignorer, no nothing. His uniform effect gives him chain hit damage and increases 40% against enemies that don't have machine ability. So enemies that don't have machine ability, increase the damage dealt for them, to them, by 40%, which is pretty good. All this stuff, and he still dog shit. He really is. So I really hope the developers team could just like look back at Ultron and make it meta for PvE. Okay, because I think he has so much potential to be a PvE powerhouse, being a universal machine, which is a very rare tag. He also has like the pure evil tag on him. Okay, he has the pure evil tag and machine tag, so these two rarely hang up together. Rarely. Yeah, Ultron absolutely deserves one. He's a very strong character. He's very powerful. He's been done dirty. I think they could do so much more with Ultron being a leadership and a damage dealer at the same time. Although I prefer a damage dealer because leadership already have enough leaderships in the game. I think Ultron definitely deserves to be in the top 10 character that should get a tier 4 and an absolute overhaul rework. Because he's been done extremely dirty with this uniform. Everybody thought he was gonna blow up the game. He came into the game and he was one of the worst tier 3s out there. Unfortunately, he was one of the most underwhelming tier 3s out there when he got this tier 3 and this uniform. So I really hope the developers team look back into this and give him a new uniform and a tier 4, be it from the Avengers comic run when he invaded the entire universe, and he took down all the heroes by himself, and he had a gold shiny armor or something like that. Yeah, do something with Ultron, make him really threatening as a villain, make him very threatening as a villain. So hopefully the developers can give him tier 4 by next year. And number 6, we have Blue Marvel. Now, Blue Marvel, when he got this tier 3 and this uniform back in 2023, I believe, or 22, somewhere around there, back in last year or the year before. No, I think it was the year before. I think it was the year before that. I think it was 2020. Let me give a quick look at that. No, not the emblem collection. Excuse me. Let me give a quick look at that. The archive event token, 2022. Okay, here we go. 2022. Was it 2022 or was it 2021? I think it was. Actually, 2021. Yes, it was in 2021. It was during the Black Widow Ultimates update. Yep, the Spectrum token for the Ultimates update. Okay, it was 3 years ago when he first got this tier 3 and this uniform, and he was a tanky dude. It was really hard to kill him. It was extremely painful to kill this dude. This guy had like 70% damage reduction on his 4-star passive. He did not have iframe ignore, unfortunately. He had the V-pad skill. He had this third skill, which was his bread and butter. Okay, it gives him this mockery effect, which forces the opponents to attack him. Okay, forces the opponents to attack him. And increases their attack by 10%. But there's a 100% chance they will not receive the barrier, shield, all damage immune, and invincible effect for 15 seconds. So he applies the mockery effect on them, okay, and they get an increase of 10%, but they have a 100% chance that they will not receive any barrier, shield, or all damage immune effect for 15 seconds. For 15 seconds, they will not receive any of that. He had a 5% recovery of his max HP every second for 5 seconds, which is 25% recovery of his max HP, okay, in total. He had all damage, all basic attack and defense increase by 15%, which is like a frenzy buff, a weak ass frenzy buff. He had another frenzy buff on his 4th skill. He had a V-pad with 100 damage percent proc on his 4th skill. He had 70% chance and native penetration to just barrier on all damage immune effect. He did not have penetration to invincible, to shield, to super armor, none of that. Okay, he did not have any of that stuff, unfortunately. He had super garbage on the third skill and the fifth skill and the first skill as well. Okay, he did have those stuff. His uniform effect gave him this newest ability that we have seen, which is basically increase damage dealt to characters with remove all debuffs by 30% and increase damage dealt to targets with mockery effect by 30%. Okay, so it's sort of like Thanos, but unfortunately he came with this effect before Thanos got it, and he had like all resistances applied to all allies as well. So he had all the stuff that makes him tanky, but he did not have the damage. Unfortunately, he had no damage. He was just like a very tanky dude with no damage. He would just make the other opponents to focus their damage on him, and he just keep reducing all that damage because he has 70% damage reduction. He was extremely tanky. It was like a nightmare. This dude with the CTP of regeneration was an absolute hoss, an absolute tank. Okay, I gave him Mighty CTP of Authority because it synergizes super well with the 4-star passive. It gives him 95% damage reduction in total. Okay, and there's an extra damage reduction from the concentration effect, a 20% damage increase from concentration effect. That's whatever, but yeah, Blue Marvel, one of the most tankiest, brutal PvP characters that were really hard to kill, and I honestly think he deserved to get a new uniform and a tier 4 and make him tanky again. He definitely deserves it as a PvP meta, as a PvP player myself. I would really encourage the developers team to give this dude a new uniform and a tier 4, because he's gonna be so hard to kill back. He was so hard to kill back then. He's gonna be so hard to kill now once he get a tier 4, hopefully by next year. So really hope he gets a new uniform, really hope he gets something and return him back to the meta for PvP. Really hope so. Coming up at number 5, we have Juggernaut. Juggernaut himself was he was like a mixture of, you know, a good character, bad character at the same time. It was like mixed reactions with Juggernaut. So Juggernaut, he got this uniform with the Fear Itself update. When Hulk got a tier 4, Juggernaut, Titanium, and Absorberman got an Awakened skill. There was no tier 3 in that update yet. Juggernaut, what can I say? He's a mixed bag. He's a very mixed bag. So he has 40% damage reduction. He has the recovery rates, which is like the healing factor type stuff. 5% recovery, max HP and HP below 99%. Okay, his uniform effect gave him the 30% HP increase, but the weird 30% ignore defense was so irrelevant. Yeah, skill damage and bonus damage was good. Like he had all the PvP stuff. He had iframe ignore with a 30% recovery max HP. He had accumulation based on damage received. He has invincibility for 2 seconds. He had damage rock on the 4th skill. Like, he had stuff, okay, but he did not have penetration, unfortunately. So the penetration was like a massive blow to the jaw. He had no penetration. He had a frenzy buff, but it only applies for 4 seconds. Excuse me, for 5 seconds when his HP is below 40%. And he had this weird 4-second debuff, but it only applies when his HP is below 40% on a 5-second cooldown. Now, Juggernaut, he could have been like the next Hulk for PvP. He could have been. I don't know what exactly they were doing with him. I don't know if they knew exactly what they should be doing with this guy. Like his damage is such a yo-yo. You know, it keeps a yo-yoing all the way back and down. Like, it made no sense how to use this guy at all. It made no sense at all. So I just kept him for like PvP. That's it. I gave him like a PvP ISO 8 set. I had his 5-star artifact, which I pulled up by luck, okay, from an event where you spend some tokens and you get artifacts. His uniform I have is just at normal, okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? He has potential to be a PvP meta, okay, with these effects on, but they ruined it and they give him this weird shenanigans with 40%, like 60% all attack increase when his HP is below 40%, and he had this damage reduction by 40%, but his leadership gives all allies 50% defense. He has penetration with no, he has iframe ignore with no penetration. He had accumulation based on damage received, but he doesn't even use the third skill. His AI rotation was so dog shit. Like, I did not understand what to do with this guy. They gave him 30% recovery, they gave him 30% HP increase, but they also gave him 30% ignore defense increase. Why would you need 30% ignore defense increase when the cards can do that for you? Like, I'm overcapped. I am literally overcapped over here. 33%. This 30% could just be gone to, like, I don't know, dodge, for example, or crit damage, for example, or attack, for example, or defense increase, for example. I don't know. They could have done something with it, but no, they made him a character that just makes no sense how to use, and we just had to figure it out, and nobody figured it out. He just remained an AC character, unfortunately. So I really hope he gets a tier 4 next year. I think he has so much potential to become a PvP tank meta character, but they have to do it right. They have to do it correctly. They need to give him all the PvP tools and make it right for Juggernaut, because he's been done dirty. He's such a tank character. He's such a hoss character, but in the game, he's such a punching bag. That's the feeling that I get from him. So hopefully, fingers crossed for Juggernaut to get a tier 4 by next year. Coming up at number 4, we have Black Swan. Now, Black Swan, when she just got introduced this year, and I really wanted to get a tier 4 by next year because she is potentially PvP meta. She really is. I know there's so many PvP characters in this list, but most of them, because they already have the potential to become meta for PvP, so I just, let me push these guys out of the way because they're very close to that potential. So yeah, Black Swan, she has such a powerful effect on her kit. She has the Adam Warlock effect, which basically applies to all of her skills. Ignore iframe, which is this one. Basically, iframe ignore effect that applies to all of her skills for 3 seconds. She has Super Garbic on her second, her third, and her fourth skill. She has a native penetration, a 50% chance to penetrate everything. Super armor, barrier, shield, all damage, immune, invincible effects. She has super armor. She has all defense increased by 50%. She has a debuff removal on her leadership. Her 4-star passive gives her 5% pierce damage increase, 40% damage reduction, and ignores damage by for 7 seconds when HP is below 40%, and increases her basic damage by 10% for every basic damage that has been ignored. So the more she ignores damage, the more her own self damage increases by 10%. Okay, so yeah, it stacks up to 60%, and it decreases all damage received, okay, by 10% up to 60%. Okay, so not only does she ignore damage, she also decreases the damage that she already has. She already receives. She already has the 40% damage reduction, but that adds up to the 60% damage reduction from her brutal incursion effect when HP is below 40%. So yeah, she has all the effects and the tools for PvP. She has accumulation. She has a frenzy buff on her 5th skill. She has invincible for 5 seconds. She has barrier for 15 hits. She has recover for HP by 25% for 1 second. Like, she is a tank, by definition, a mega tank. Okay, and she has Super Garbic on the 3rd, on the 4th, and the 2nd skill. The 2nd skill that has the iframe ignore as well. She has a counter effect on the 2nd skill too. Okay, so yeah, really hope that she gets something. I really hope so. By next year, we hope she gets a tier 4, a new look maybe, or they can just give her a tier 4. She doesn't even need the new look. Okay, she's already tanky character. She already is. Okay, I don't think she needs anything else except would just say a tier 4. Just like Dakin. I don't think Dakin needs another uniform. I just think he needs a tier 4 and that's it. He's good to go. Maybe they can give him like Super Garbreak in one of his skills. Maybe. But yeah, she's already a tanky character. She doesn't even need a new look. She just needs a tier 4 and that's it. Yeah, I really hope that the developer team go back to what's her name, to Black Swan, because I've invested a lot in her. Give her HP Urus, get all of her skills to level 6. Her type enhancement at rank 3. I give her a PvP ISO 8 set. I don't have her artifact, but I have a mighty CTB of authority with 30% damage reduction. So I really hope Black Swan gets something by next year. She's a really tanky character, and she honestly deserves to be in the PvP meta with all these effects. She honestly deserves that, so fingers crossed for that. And number 3, we have Dormammu. Now, Dormammu, when he got this uniform back in 2019 or 18, I believe. I think it was 19 or 2020. No, it was during 2020. It was during the Damnation update in 2020. He was trash. Unfortunately, he was not that good. He was like okay-ish, but he did not last long. He did not last long. He had no accumulation. He had Reflect. Okay, he had Ifram Gunnar would Reflect. He had Frenzy buff 45%, all attack, all defense increase. He had an extra 100% all damage immunity. And that's pretty much it. He had debuff removal for 5 seconds and HP recovery for 1 second only. And that's on a 7-second cooldown, which is really bad. It really is bad. His tier 3 was like okay-ish. Alright, it did deal a lot of damage. His 4-star passive was like... His 4-star passive just gives him a revive, basically, what I was looking at. It only gave him revive. His leadership was the powerful one. It applies to supervillain allies, okay? It increases basic damage dealt to superhero faction by 60%. 60%, dude. That's madness. That is straight up madness. Okay? 60% damage increase to superhero faction, which is insane. His uniform effect gave him like some skill damage and bonus damage and 20% damage reduction, but that's pretty much it. He has a lot of potential for PvE and PvP as well. He has the potential to become a hybrid character. It can be used both for PvP and PvE, just like Jean Grey, just like Sentry type stuff. He has so much potential for both of the contents of game modes. Can be used properly if they do him correctly, if they do him justice, and they give him a uniform that has the bags mixed for PvE and PvP. He can be a powerful next level character for the universal supervillain class. Yeah, Dormammu has been done dirty. They can give him the design from the Guardians of the Galaxy 2020 comic run when he merged with the Ego, the celestial planet. Okay, he bonded with him, and he became this humongous monster that was just dwarfing galaxies with his size. So he was like mega insane. He was so big. He was extremely big. He was extremely powerful. So really, I really hope that they give him a new look. Okay, give him a tier 4, because he's due to get one. He should get one. Honestly, this is the Dormammu we're talking about. He should not be left in the dust like this. This is such a disrespectful way of treating an iconic supervillain in Marvel Comics, a threatening supervillain in the Marvel Comics. So, yeah, really hope he gets a new look. Really hope he becomes a meta for PvE and PvP, because honestly, he deserves to get one. And yeah, man, Dormammu should definitely get a new uniform and return back to the meta. Honestly, he should. So, hopefully the developers team give him a tier 4 by next year. Coming up at number 2, we have Molecule Man. Now, Molecule Man, he has been the most criminally underpowered character in Marvel Future Fights. The most criminally underpowered character. The tier 2 passive was gives him a revive. Okay, the 4-star passive gives him decreased damage reflect from effects by 50%. Okay, decreased damage received from reflect effects by 50%, and that applies to all attacks. His leadership was so bizarre. So the leadership, what it does, it gives all allies iframe ignore for 6 not iframe ignore, excuse me, it gives them debuff removal for 6 seconds, and it ignores damage increase and decrease between self and opposing faction. So if you have Colossus on your team and the other team had Colossus on their team, your Colossus would be useless and their Colossus would be useless because it was a faction-based damage decrease from superheroes and supervillain faction. Okay, the same goes for damage buff. If you have like a Mystique on your team, she applies to all allies 50% or 45% damage increase to superhero supervillains. That one would be completely nullified because the leadership nullifies that. Even if she's on your team, he just nullifies that. Okay, which was super weird. And it decreased the chain hit damage by 50% when attacked. Okay, which is okay. So this leadership was so weird. They should have just made it that applies to opponents. Ignores damage increase and decrease from the opponents only, not from your side, which is very self-destructing effect. You wouldn't want your team to lose. You want your team to win, which is the idea. Okay. The fifth skill had nothing. Fourth skill gave him 20% recovery max HP with 80% chance to penetrate everything, and it gives him decreased basic damage received by 50%. Okay, but even that wasn't helpful. His third skill gave him all damage immunity. His second skill gave him nothing. His first skill gave him nothing. His leadership, his tier 3 skill gave him 120% all attack increase and 50% all defense increase. That's the only skill that gave him damage buff. The only skill. None of the skills over here gave him damage buff. Nothing. No frenzy buff, no accumulation, no nothing. No eye from ignore, no reflect, no counter attack, no nothing. This penetration was like, okay, yeah, penetration, but what's the point of having penetration if you don't have, I don't know, eye from ignore or damage buff or something like. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just straight up blind character. This is the most 2016 or 15 or 17 character uniform. The most. Okay? And yeah, man, they should give him a new look. Give him a new tier 4. Change his skills, all of them. He needs a massive overhaul. Massive overhaul. He's been disrespected so bad in this game. He needs a massive overhaul. Completely. So hopefully he gets something new. Hopefully he gets a tier 4 by next year. He honestly deserves to get one. He honestly has so much cool animations. If you look at these animations, like, holy shit, look at this. Look at this. Just take a look at this. He creates a wormhole, a black hole, and then he just obliterates everything. He creates another black hole over here. He creates a dying star, and that dying star creates another black hole. Like, come on, man. These animations are so cool. He is such a cool character. There's another black hole over there. Like, this dude just keeps creating black holes all over. He creates a universe. A universe with his mind, bro. He has a mental breakdown, and then he creates a universe. And these are like these photons around there, like planetary photons type stuff, or planets with or stars with solar systems type stuff. We have these circles that circle around these balls. So like, yeah, such a cool animation. Honestly, Molecule Man deserves to get a new look. He deserves to get a new look, a new design, a tier 4. He should be extremely powerful. He definitely deserves to be extremely meta character for PvE and PvP, both of them. He definitely deserves to be meta for both of them. So hopefully the developers team give Molecule Man a tier 4 by next year. He honestly deserves it, in my opinion. And coming up at number 1, we have Hyperion. Now, Hyperion, man, when he got this uniform, I was really excited for him. I really like Hyperion from the comics, especially the Jonathan Hickman's version of Hyperion, which is this one over here. He definitely deserves to get a new uniform. He should get a new uniform. He should be meta for the game. Like, I'm talking like century level meta. Okay, this is Superman we're talking here. This is not just some regular character. This is basically Marvel's version of Superman. Okay, we already have another version of Superman over here. Oh, what did I do? Let's go back to the team. We already have a version of Superman that's very powerful for PvE. Okay, we can have one who's very powerful for PvP. Okay, we could have one. His leadership, now let's check out his leadership. His leadership was good. It gives him all allies 55% all attack increase. His 4-star passive was very weird, man. Extremely weird. So it was good and weird at the same time. So what it does, it gives him 50% recovery max HP for 1 second, but it's on a 10-second cooldown. If they made this for like 2 seconds only, bro, he would be a tank. He would be unkillable. He would actually be extremely hard to kill. Extremely. This immunity to stun effect was just random. It was pointless. Okay, because it doesn't even apply when you're using him in World Boss Legend. Okay, and there's like this stage with Null when he stuns you. It doesn't even apply. So this immunity to stun effect is so dog shit. Barrier for 1 second is like trash. They should put it like 10 seconds. No, not 10 seconds. It should be 10 times. Okay, it's only barrier for 1 time for 2 seconds. They should put it like 10 times or 20 times for 10 seconds or something like that. Okay. His 5th skill gave him accumulation based on damage received, but it's so bad. It is so bad because the reason why it's so bad is because you don't know how to accumulate properly, because he has iframe on most of his skills. Okay, his first, his second, his third, his fourth, they all have iframe. Ignore targeting, they all of them, except for the 5th skill. Now, this accumulation should be placed on something like a 3rd skill, for example. It should be placed on something like a 3rd skill. I don't know, that's my opinion. His tier 2 passive gave him native penetration to barrier, all damage, immune, and invisible effect, which is good, but not enough. And he has super armor, all defense increases by 50%. He has skill damage, bonus damage. His uniform effect gave him what? Guaranteed crit rate and fire damage increased by 25%. Okay? And check this out. His tier 3 give him energy damage, but all of his skills have fire damage, which is weird. It's so weird. It's like this uniform was just like to cash grab people, and that's it, because they already have plans for him to make him a energy damage dealer in the future. So yeah, I have his type enhancement ranks is fully maxed out. I have stage 12 Fire Angry Hawk. I do have his 4-star artifact. Okay, that gives him a 20% damage reduction. Okay, that stacks up with his 30%, I believe. I think it's 30% over here somewhere. Wow, did they remove it? Okay, hold up a second. Okay. Did they remove it? Okay, they did remove it. No way, they actually did remove it, did they? Wow. Wow, okay, this is new. So, if you guys don't know, Hyperion used to have a, whatchamacallit, 30% damage reduction. I think it was on his tier 2 passive, or 4-star passive. But they removed it. They removed that. So now, he has a 20% damage reduction flat. Just flat 20% damage reduction, that's it. That's pretty much it. Damn, okay. No, this is not good. This is not good. So he used to have a 20% damage reduction, 30% damage reduction on his tier 2 passive or 4-star passive over here, but they removed it. Why would they remove that? Well, they think I wouldn't notice. I like Hyperion, I really do, and I remember properly. He used to have a 30% damage reduction. Okay, so, alright. So I guess we only have 20% damage reduction on his 4-star artifacts. I had just a regular CTP of Rage, and I had a uniform being a mythic. Now Hyperion, in my opinion, should definitely get a new look. New design, an insane power level, and make a meta for PvE and PvP. A perfect update for that would be like the Squadron Supreme Epic Quest. I've been advocating for this Epic Quest for years now. For years, I've been advocating for them to give us a Squadron Supreme Epic Quest for Hyperion and other Squadron Supreme members. So yeah, I really hope Hyperion gets tier 4 by next year, becomes meta for both PvE and PvP. He should become meta for both of them, in my personal opinion. He honestly deserves it.
He's been disrespected badly. This uniform, they did him dirty, okay? This uniform was introduced in the Enter the Phoenix update, which was Captain America Enter the Phoenix uniform, Wolverine uniform, which was Enter the Phoenix, and Hyperion. Wolverine was super strong back then when he got that uniform. It was so insane and hard to kill. It was a nightmare. He honestly was a nightmare to kill. And he was a meta character. He was a meta character for a very long time. He was a meta character for a very, very, very long time. Yeah, I really hope Marvel's Superman gets a new uniform, becomes meta for both PvE and PvP, because he's been criminally underpowered in this game, and massively, and he doesn't hold a candle to anybody at all. He's just a leadership right now, unfortunately. I really hope they give him a new look. I really hope he gets a tier 4 and a uniform by next year and becomes meta for both PvE and PvP. I really hope he does get that, and yeah, fingers crossed for that, boys. So these are my top 10 characters for the the top 10 characters that I wish to get tier 4 by next year. Let me know what you guys think about this list. Was it very biased towards PvP? Was it very biased towards universal characters? To be fair, not a lot of universal characters have a tier 4. If we check out the Marvel tab universe, look at that. There's 2 full lines of blast and speed and combat tier 4s, except for the universal. We don't have 2 full lines, so there's a lot of universal characters that should get a tier 4 in my opinion. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think about this list. Was it cool? Was it good? Was one of your favorite characters around in this list? Did you guys see another character get a tier 4? I had in mind maybe Exodus should be added into this list, but Exodus, so up until he gets a tier 3, there's nothing for him, unfortunately. And yeah, hopefully at least 5 of these 10 characters that I wish to get a tier 4 get a tier 4 by next year. And hopefully Moleman and Hyperion will get something. These 2 are the priority for me. The rest I really don't care. Maybe Duru in there as well. Yeah, the rest I really don't care much about them. So yeah, those are my top 10 characters I wish to get a tier 4 by next year, and hopefully we get some of them added. So we're gonna wrap it up right here, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and share so help the channel grow. Hit the notification ring bell so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming videos I'll be posting on this channel. Join my Discord server, the link in the description box below, and I will see you guys on the next video. Take care. Peace.